All right, so the big entertainment news, obviously yesterday we got the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. We'll do kind of a quick breakdown. If you guys haven't seen it, it's everywhere. On Facebook, social media, you name it, it's out there. But I went to Den of Geek as they broke down the trailer. And it says here, first and foremost, this trailer really clears up some stuff from the first one, specifically the question of whether these villains were coming to our world or whether the failure of the spell had sent Peter spiraling through the multiverse. We know that now. They're all coming here. While there's still a chance for the latter to happen, it's more about the spell has brought Spider-Man villains from other universes. Fans hoping for confirmation of other live-action Spider-Man will have to wait because this trailer is all about the villains. That's something Frank said at the very beginning of our stream today, was how that there's talk that they've edited out the other Spider-Man in this trailer. We'll get to that here at the end. But obviously the big one that they're kind of wrapping a lot of things around here is Dr. Octopus. This article here over at Den of Geek says, once again, Alfred Molina's creepily de-aged Otto Octavius is a big draw in this trailer. And we learn a little more about that highway fight from the first trailer. He clearly doesn't realize that he is not in the Raimi-verse anymore, meaning Sam Raimi, the guy who directed the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. But instead, he thinks he's fighting Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Not that it matters, as Spidey clearly manages to deliver unto him a spider whooping and take him prisoner. And then it goes on to Otto Octavius, and it says, ah, yes, that most tired of modern superhero movie tropes, where you say a name of a thing from the comics, and everybody laughs at how ridiculous it is. Like that's in the trailer, where they're like, what's your name again? He's like, Otto Octavius. And they're like, that's a weird name. They mentioned Stark Tech in here, like Stark Industries, and it says, why are Dr. Octopus's arms red? And not just any red, a very particular shade of Iron Man red. It seems possible, even likely, that Otto upgrades his arms once he makes his way into the MCU, perhaps with some ill-gotten gains from Stark Enterprises. And now it's going to start to tie things together here. It says, what's interesting is that last year, Marvel Studios announced that an Armor Wars series would be coming to Disney+. In the comics, Armor Wars dealt with Tony Stark realizing that someone had been stealing his tech and using it to arm the armored villains in the Marvel Universe. The TV series would deal with James Rhodes, it's played by Don Cheadle, at least now played by Don Cheadle, coming to the same conclusion and trying to shut it all down. Could Doc Ock's new arms be our first hint of that? So we've got Dr. Octopus, and then, of course, we also have Green Goblin. He pops up. We only heard his laugh in the original trailer, the first trailer that we got, and now you actually get to see him. It says here, we heard his sinister laugh and witnessed a pumpkin bomb explosion in the first Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, but this time, Willem Dafoe is fully back in action as the Green Goblin from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Unfortunately, he's still wearing that ridiculous getup. Now, here's where things get a little bit questioning, I guess. What's his friend's name?
Spider-Man's friend?
Ned, right? That's Ned.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had seen a rumor that there's a shot where it shows somebody who looks like Green Goblin / Hobgoblin in the trailer, and they're like, ooh, maybe they're like Ned, like this is where Ned finally becomes the Hobgoblin. Because there is a shot of somebody else who's not all decked out. You know that weird helmet that looked like a goblin that Willem Dafoe's character would wear? Well, there's somebody else in this shot, in this trailer, that's not wearing that, and that could be the Harry Osborn character from any of the other Spider-Mans, from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or possibly Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi version. Lots of question marks. Tyler and I watched this last night. One of the things that we made note of is the fact that Electro doesn't look like complete garbage. I mean, it's tough to make Electro. Like, go back and look at what Electro looked like in the comic books, and you'll kind of see what we're talking about. But Jamie Foxx is back. You've got Sandman and Lizard. They're fighting as well. And here's the thing that Frank had mentioned at the very beginning of this. And it said, this is kind of a weird framing, isn't it? 3 villains in different parts of the screen, and it shows Electro, Lizard, and Sandman. But there's only one Spider-Man jumping in the middle. It says, would it make sense for there to be a Spidey at Electro's level and one at Lizard's level? So that's where we're wondering if maybe they photoshopped out these the other Spider-Men. Ortiz says they're talking about the actor having to drop all that weight. The guy that plays Ned. I mean, they could have made it look a little bit different specifically for the trailer. Remember, the trailers for Avengers: Infinity War, that showed the Hulk as they were running through Wakanda. That showed the Hulk. He's not in the movie at all. They ended up taking him out, and they just put Bruce Banner inside the Hulkbuster costume. So here's the thing that I know that you were chomping at the bit for, Tyler. Kingpin.
Oh, what?
Because I'd mentioned this before we jumped on. You were like, what are they talking about? Because there's somebody who saw something in the trailer that could allude to Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. So in the trailer, the fight scene between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, it's on a highway, and there's a bunch of cars around, and somebody did a freeze frame on one of the cars, and it has a license plate bearing the number ASM 8183. And that has to do with the specific comics and the number. It said Spider-Man Homecoming featured a reference to the Vulture's first appearance in The Amazing Spider-Man number 2. One of Far From Home's plates was more obscure. Nick Fury's car referenced an issue of Marvel Team Up that paired Spider-Man with the S.H.I.E.L.D. director. So what they're assuming is this is a reference to the comic with Kingpin. And this is an Easter egg pointing to the fact that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is going to be involved in Spider-Man No Way Home. Is it true? Who knows at this point? All right, moving on. A couple more entertainment stories here. So essentially that was kind of where they alluded to the fact that, they're the Kingpin. It has to do with comic books. Somebody else found out Shang-Chi has apparently sparked outrage in China over a hidden Tiananmen Square reference. So I still haven't seen Shang-Chi. It is available on Disney+. I'm waiting to watch it with my kid because that's our thing. We watch the Marvel movies together. And somebody noticed that the bus driver's tag reads 8964, which some have perceived to be a reference to the infamous and nationally suppressed Tiananmen Square massacre, which took place on June 4th, 1989. So obviously the 89 would be the 89. 6 would be June, and then 4 would be the day. The image has been posted elsewhere on other social media sites and platforms, sparking discussion about whether or not the reference was intentional. There's been some other issues here, apparently, where I guess China just wasn't all that happy with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This article says here that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings signified a major shift in Marvel Studios and Disney's ability to release films into the Chinese market, since the film, which has been viewed by some as an attempt to better appeal to China and Chinese audiences specifically, ultimately became the second film released this year to be essentially barred from Chinese theater screens. Though the film passed state censors and some amount of marketing took place, the film to date has yet to be given a release date over there. Very touchy over there in China, apparently. Kathleen Kennedy, her contract has been renewed. She's now going to be with LucasFilm for 2024. If you're wondering who the main person behind all the new Star Wars stuff is, she's kind of the head of it. That's LucasFilm. A lot of people not the biggest fans of Kathleen Kennedy, right there, Tyler?
No, a lot of people blame her for the failures of Star Wars.
I told this to to Tyler before we jumped on live today. They need to give it to Dave Filoni. Everything that dude has done with Star Wars has been amazing. Now, this is what I don't mind if she's in control of Lucasfilm, as long as he's in control specifically of the Star Wars stuff. Because he's gone in, he's been one of the major driving forces, the Clone Wars television series. And then, The Mandalorian and things like that. And I'm telling you, there's behind-the-scenes stuff of the first season of The Mandalorian that if you've not seen it, the way his mind works and the way that he's able to perceive these stories and then tell them, you're like, this guy gets it. This man understands it probably better than George Lucas does at this point. And Dave Filoni even admits, he's like, this is George's thing. I got to go back to what he wanted, what his original vision was. But damn, man, I'm telling you, that dude gets it.
Well, I think he's an actual fan. Like he didn't just watch the movies. He probably, read all those extended banded universe novels and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, there's some stuff on Disney Plus that Mandalorian kind of behind the scenes where they're interviewing him. I'll see if I can find the clip and I'll post it somewhere, because the way that he describes the Star Wars saga, it made me feel comfortable knowing that he is at the helm. My only fear is that he will end up butting heads with Kathleen Kennedy about something, and that will give him the boot. And at that point, Tyler, we riot.
Hey, man, I'm already ready to riot.
So this goes on to talk about Kathleen Kennedy and all the stuff that she's been involved with since she has taken over. She was essentially the one. She was handpicked by George Lucas to take over Lucasfilm when he sold the rights to all the Star Wars stuff back in 2012. So all of the movies since then, you had The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. What was the name of the last one? Was it The Last Jedi and Last Skywalker? How
Man, I don't remember
on that. Good God, yeah, it's.
I didn't even see it.
You didn't even see it. Damn.
Heck no.
We're getting a heck no. It was The Rise of Skywalker is what it was. Yeah, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. It's kind of a mess. I mean, I'm still going to watch it. Especially considering with those movies, when they were being released over Christmas time, it brings back that nostalgic feeling, even though it was just a few years ago. I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to start really doing more of a deep dive into a lot of these Star Wars stories, including rewatching The Mandalorian. But yeah, so her contract has been renewed. And if you're looking at some of the stuff that we have lined up, you have the Book of Boba Fett coming out, the Obi-Wan series coming out. And then you also have some other series, like you have the Andor series, you have the Ahsoka Tano series with Rosario Dawson, which should be pretty cool. But, let's just hope that Dave Filoni is the main driving force behind a lot of this stuff. Another interesting story here in the entertainment news, Naked Gun director David Zucker is developing a new spoof movie. So if you're a fan of the Naked Gun movies, Airplane, that was kind of one of the big ones that he was behind. He's hoping to do it again. The filmmaker is developing a new project with a spoof of film noir tropes. The new movie will be titled Star of Malta. The new film sounds like it's going to be a little bit darker because it's centered around a character who kills someone accidentally and then goes to jail. When he gets out, he ends up accidentally killing a lot more people along the way. Isn't that kind of what happens in the old Mr. Magoo movies? I'm pretty sure there's people dropping dead behind Mr. Magoo and that dude couldn't see anything.
I think the difference is they didn't show it.
It was off screen.
Yeah, off-screen deaths.
All right, we got to power through these stories here. Mel Gibson, he has confirmed that he is going to direct Lethal Weapon 5. Did you ever watch any of the Lethal Weapons, Tyler?
Oh, yeah, I watched them all.
It's interesting because when you go back and look at, like when they brought in Joe Pesci and then they brought in Chris Rock, when they do that in movies now, I cringe because it's like, ugh, like they're just adding stuff on and it's not going to bring anything to the movie. Hell no. The ones with Joe Pesci and then Chris Rock, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I think a lot of it had to do with some of the stuff that Chris Rock was doing in the Lethal Weapon that he was in was from his stand-up. Like the scene with... Go ahead.
Did you watch the TV? There was a TV series. Did you watch that?
No, but it was Damon Wayans, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then the guy that played Riggs got fired, and then they brought in, was it Scott Conn?
Yeah, I stopped watching it after they switched.
Because apparently the guy that played Riggs was an ass. Like, he was a gigantic ass. Oh, they didn't replace the character. He was gone. Clayne Crawford was that guy's name. He played Martin Riggs. And then Sean William Scott was who they brought in. Stifler. That's who they brought in to play a new character, kind of replace the one that they had gotten rid of. But you stay up until that point, it was pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like it when TV shows do major actor changes like that.
And final entertainment story today, we have young viewers prefer TV subtitles, research suggests. Do you watch TV with subtitles?
Well, I don't watch TV, but like Netflix, I used to not, but I started since the one stream that we had, where you said that what was it? Luke Cage, you gotta watch season 2 with subtitles on.
Holy crap! Yeah, you do. I'm telling you, it helps, especially when it's a show with accents and stuff like that. But this right here with the research, it says that 4 out of 5 viewers aged 18 to 25 said that they use subtitles all or part of the time. Less than a quarter of those aged between 56 and 75 said that they do so. I originally started watching things with subtitles when I lived with Buzz because he would have it, and he had a really... It was difficult because the TV, if you turned it up too loud, there was like a rattle, and you know, when it gets really quiet and then it gets really loud, and it's for me at this point, it's easier with subtitles. It helps me follow the story a lot better. It helps me pick up on names a lot better, so I can actually put the name to a face. I know what the hell they're talking about because my attention span's not always quite there. But subtitles, it's the way to go, man.